And to think that I'm on stage right now sharing this story for the first time, because I haven't really even done it with This Is It, because I'm going to get really, really vulnerable with all of you, because I want you to know where I came from. And that if I can do this, anybody here could. I'm looking at Michelle because yesterday, that beautiful lady right there, Michelle, came up to me and she just looked at me. And I looked into her eyes, and you know when somebody, you just know what they're going to say? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, I could be wrong, but I think we both share very similar stories. And today it was confirmed. We share very similar stories. It's hard for me to talk about it. Sorry. I wouldn't share the story with so many people because I was terrified, I was embarrassed, and how could I let anybody treat me that way? I did. I love you too. And I did. I let somebody treat me that way. I was abused verbally. I was abused emotionally. I was abused physically. And no one knew. No one knew. Nobody saw it. I kept quiet because I didn't want anybody to know because I thought I was weak. But I'm not. I'm an overcomer. And I've made it to this side. During that time, I lost my voice, I lost my self-confidence, I lost the ability to believe in myself, the ability to dream. I lost myself. And it was dark, it was ugly, and I just knew one thing. I didn't want to be here. I just didn't know how to get out. Because I was also broke. I was on financial assistance from the government, which in the United States of America you call welfare. That was something I was also very embarrassed about because who wants to share that with people? Well, during this time in this abusive relationship and everything that I went through and endured, I then have my second child. I love my babies. I'm a mom of 3. A 12-year-old boy, Mark Anthony, Alexander, 11, John Paul, 7. They're my everything. And when Alexander, was diagnosed at 2.5 years old with, we're allowed to say that here, right? Compliance doesn't give you autism. We got to be careful in the States. We can't say. Okay, great. So my son was diagnosed with autism. And if things couldn't get worse, now I'm in this relationship and I have a son who is sick. If you met my boy today, you wouldn't believe where he once was because he's come so far. But my son was sick. He used to take his head and bang it on the floor for hours. The doctor said to me, Olga, the best thing your son might have a concussion. I think you really should consider putting a helmet on your baby. Of course, I listened because I didn't want my son to have a concussion. But now my son's walking around with a helmet, and he wants to rip the helmet off. My son didn't sleep, so I had sleepless nights. He was always up, screaming, crying. His stomach was bloated. He had dark black circles around his eyes. His pupil, went into the corner. He had like a cornered eye, I guess you call that, right? He's just sick. And at 2.5 years of doing the same thing over and over again, as doctors had suggested and medical professionals, I get a phone call from my sister, and she's like, hey, I found this page on social media. You got to take a look at it. People are changing their kids' lives by just diet and taking care of their bodies on a holistic level. I thought she was out of her mind, of course, because I didn't believe that could fix my son. It didn't fix my son, but it was a step to our journey. And we worked tirelessly for years, because healing a body is hard, or helping a body heal, rather, is hard. To mess it up, to mess your body up could happen like this. It just takes, go ahead and have McDonald's every day, or whatever it is that's bad over, in South Africa, whatever is unhealthy for you. If you eat enough of it, you won't be well, right? But the journey's real, and we went through it. And everything that I did brought us here. But I'm going to bring it back a little bit because I'm moving forward too fast. There was a story I want to share with you. My now 12-year-old son, who was probably, 7 years old, says, "Mom, I want to get hamburger and French fries. Please, Mom, everybody goes to this place. Bring me there. I want to get hamburger and French fries." It's not expensive. It was about $5 for this little kid's meal. I had $5 in my pocket. And you can't pay at this restaurant with this welfare. They won't accept it. It's money. And I remember looking at my son and says, "Oh, baby, Mommy doesn't have money for that, sweetheart. We can't do it today." And he looked at me, and I'll never forget his eyes. He was terrified. 7-year-old boy, terrified that Mommy couldn't afford it, because I had to make a decision that day. It's $5 for my baby's fries and hamburgers, or it's $5 in the gas tank that I'm on empty. I didn't drive far. I didn't go far places because I couldn't afford to use gas. And I remember I made a decision because of the way my son's eyes looked at me with fear. I didn't want him to be scared. So I got him his fries and his hamburger. And he was happy. And I was happy. Drove him to school the next morning. I went down a hill. I said, "Okay, we're going down a hill. We're safe." But I had to go back up that hill. And all I did was pray to God, "God, please get this car home. It's dead of the winter. My baby, John Paul, is an infant, and I have no gas." My boys are dropped off to school. I go up this road, back home, now up the hill, and guess what happened? I ran out of gas. What are you going to do? That's the story. I called my sister up. I said, "Hey, Becky," her name is Rebecca, "you got to help me out. I'm stuck. I need gas." She comes to my Savior, gets me gas, we go back home. But I remember it was that pivotal moment right then and there that I said, "I choose not to let this be my story." It was that moment right there that everything just switched. Shortly after that, I met this beautiful man by accident, pre-pandemic. By accident, I literally fell as he was speaking to a group of people. I walked into a room running in for this motivational conference. I got to get in there. I'm going to change my life. Everything's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And boom, right on the floor. I broke my glasses. My hat went flying off my head. And I was mortified because everybody's looking at me. There's about 100 people there. Ask me how many people came to save me. 0. Do you know who did come to save me? Javier Solis. And he came over to me and he looked at me and I was so embarrassed. I was fine. I wasn't hurt. He goes, "Are you okay?" I said, "I think so. That was bad. I'm embarrassed." Anyway, he fixed my glasses. He saved the day. We made a great joke about it. We exchanged numbers. We became good friends. And during the pandemic, we realized, hey, we're not just friends. We love each other. But he met a broken woman who didn't believe in herself, who didn't trust anybody, who the only thing she was worried about was her babies. That is all that I worried. I didn't need a man. I like them. But I needed to make sure that my children were good. And I remember Javi, very persistent, as you know. Come on. He goes, it's love. Don't deny it. I said, I know, but I'm scared. He goes, come on, baby. Don't deny it. This is the story. This is how it was supposed to happen. So we go and we start working on each other. And we did. We worked on each other. And I remember Javi and we sat down. And you know what the first thing we did, Chris and Lucinda? We sat down and we wrote down goals that we wanted for our future. I wish that I had that list. I don't have it. I don't know why. I've been looking for it for about a year. It was here in my notes. It's gone. But on that list, I will quickly state what was on there, some of the things. To become stronger people individually, but together. To travel the world. To succeed in this business of network marketing. To one day, because he loved to speak he's naturally a speaker. I was not. This was very hard for me. It's gotten better, because for me now this has become exciting. I get to see everybody. I get to share my story. I get to see people's lives transform. This, for me, gives me gas. It fuels me. It takes me to the next level. But everything Javi and I wrote down, call it goals, call it targets, whatever it is that you may want to call it, we've accomplished every single one. Guys, it can't rain forever. Wilson, I mean, you hear his story, you shaking inside. Michelle, everybody's story here is magical. The sun is going to shine again. As a matter of fact, the sun has been shining so bright that it exceeded our expectations and what it is that we've achieved. I know that in the thick of it, when you're going through those seasons in your life, in the thick of it, it seems like it's never going to end. It almost seems like, I'm sure you thought, Michelle, the same thing. This is just my life. I chose wrong. I should have seen the red signs. They were there. They were there. But everything that I went through in my life made me the person that I am today. And I am not going to be embarrassed of my story as I once was. As a matter of fact, I have freedom now. Freedom. Freedom to be able to share my story on stage in front of people without not crying through the whole 20 minutes of it. Instead, it's ignited me to believe in myself. I never in a million years I'd be living a life like this right now. Never. And I know there's so many people in here that are going through the thick of it, and you say, how am I going to get out of this? Write it down and just start proceeding forward. Every day, baby steps. I like what Wilson said because it's something that we started to do. Constantly gratitude. As a matter of fact, do you know what I thank God for every day? Thank you for making me go through that time of my life and seeing that ugly part of my life. I needed to see that. I needed to go through that, and that is why I believe today I don't even hold anger against them. Do you know that? People say, you must hate him. I don't want to hang out with him, but I'm not upset anymore. Why should I be upset? Look at what happened here. Look how many people we've been able to help. That's the biggest blessing, I think, out of all of this. I'm an ordinary woman who chooses every day to soar. I'm an ordinary woman who chooses every day to fly. And I'm an ordinary woman who chooses every day to make another extraordinary decision. And let me tell you, I said it yesterday, the climb to get here is exhilarating. It feels so good. With a humble heart, I say that. It's not to show off. It's just to show you where I came from, to believe that I'd never be able to do something like this, and to be able to achieve it. Here in Dallas, Texas, scary things, but when you get it done, it feels so good. Guys, I believe all things are available to us. I just want you to know, I just want to know right now with the show of hands, who is going after it leaving today? Come on, everybody's hand should be up. Who is going after it today? And I believe every single one of you could. Yeah, see me dressed up. Yeah, I got some makeup on, a little jewelry, but do you think this is how it started? I had 2 pair of pants in my house that I rewore, and a couple of shirts. I can tell you. Empty closet, because I didn't have money. This is not what it's all about. We're here to help people. But I do say this, everyone here deserves wealth too, because it does make life so much easier. I pray in here everyone wins, because everybody in here deserves it. And I pray here because I know that this room is filled with good people. And I believe that when good people do well, they do more good. And we need you to go out there and show the entire world, South Africa, these are our stomping grounds, but this is not where you just are. You're going international, baby. With all the trials and tribulations that all of us have spoken about, because I think everyone here mentioned something that they've been through. We can all pull through. We can all rise up, step up to the next level. I want you to all believe in yourself. You all have the capability of doing exactly what it is that you need to do to get up here, to share your heart with everyone that you know, and to help them. Help them, like that poem that I'm not going to do it for you, but I'd love to lock arms with you. Guys, I love you, and I thank you so much for letting all of you let me share my heart with you. This is the first time ever that I have shared this story with anyone. Thank you.